welcome back yet again, boils and ghouls, and here we are ready to review Splatterhouse 3. It was the third game in the Splatterhouse series, the second game on the Genesis, and
the third Splatterhouse game departs greatly from what made the first two so memorable. For starters, the game places a much higher emphasis on story, a surprising amount of emphasis. There's actually multiple scenarios and endings, all of which are dependent upon how quickly Rick completes the levels. This is indicated by a timer in the game, and oh boy, aren't timers great, boys and girls? In Splatterhouse 3, Rick must yet again wear the terror mask to rescue Jennifer, only this time he must also rescue their son David. The game presents much of the story through text and cutscenes, and to say the least, I find these cutscenes impressive. Some of them look like full motion video. The gameplay changes it up for this third Splatterhouse, where the previous two games were simple yet challenging action platformers that had a great aesthetic that left you satisfied to overcome the obstacles it presented you with. Splatterhouse 3 is a straightforward beat 'em up. You shuffle from room to room of the mansion pummeling monsters. You get a health bar in this game as well as a special meter you can fill by collecting orbs. This allows you to transform into a more powerful Rick, but the punch combo has you punching straight down for one punch, which means that if you're not right on top of an enemy, that punch will miss. It's freaking stupid. Rick has a limited moveset this go around and a limited arsenal, which only seems to use the bat. Should you get knocked down, Rick drops the bat and a ghost swoops in and steals it. Every successful punch or swing of the bat provides a satisfying whack. The combat lacks any type of depth or strategy, however, and when it comes to the enemies you pummel, well, let's just say they lack inspiration. You won't be fighting many varied enemies in Splatterhouse 3. Mostly you'll be fighting the same enemies again and again, only with color palette swaps. They do show signs of damage as you continue to beat them though, and that's pretty cool. The bosses remain interesting though, the most notable being the boar worm, which looks like a penis with teeth and laughs like a child. Once you kill all the enemies in a given area, you can bring up a map of the floor you're on and plot your path to the boss, which is marked with a giant X. The mansion itself, and therefore the levels, happen to fall into the category of the most disappointing thing in the game. Levels in the previous two games provided a spooky B-movie type atmosphere. Gore covered the walls, secret labs contained monsters and giant test tubes, dungeons held mutilated and tortured captives. The levels were a delight. Splatterhouse 3's levels are large, empty, and containing only enemies to hit. The gore has been massively reduced and saved for mostly boss fights. The areas in which you fight the bosses have an adequate level of blood and guts, but the rest of the levels leave me wanting a bit more of the visceral and gross side. You get 3 floors in the house, the basement, and then the final level where you fight the terror mask. Yep, the terror mask. This time around, instead of fighting some grotesque monster, you're instead punching yourself in the face. Overall, Splatterhouse 3 isn't as fun or as gory as the first two games in the series. Its challenges and obstacles don't satisfy me when I overcome them, not as much as in the previous games. Splatterhouse 3 lacks anything truly memorable as well. Splatterhouse 1 and 2 had so many memorable moments in it, like smashing Dr. West's head open, or fighting a mirror version of Rick, or being chased by a one-eyed monster.
one-eyed monster.
Splatterhouse 3 simply disappoints. It tried to change things up and fell very short in doing so.
And that's Splatterhouse 3. That's not the last game in the series, but the next game wouldn't come along for nearly 3 console generations. And boy, do I got stuff to say about that. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Or if you don't want to subscribe and you would like to see more before you subscribe, then check out this video on Apocalypse with Bruce Willis that I made a long time ago. There are so many quips. Or check out this video right here, which stars the stunning and beautiful me. You'll love it, I promise.